Well, the United States' top intelligence official, the CIA director John Ratcliffe, says new intelligence suggests that the American strikes on the Iranian nuclear sites had left them severely damaged and that Iran's nuclear program could take years to rebuild. Several officials within the Trump administration, including the president himself, have insisted that the sites were, in his words, totally obliterated. Well, meanwhile, an Israeli assessment says that the US strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, combined with its own attacks, have set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons by years. It comes off the back of a leaked Pentagon assessment suggesting Iran's program had probably only been set back by a few months rather than years. Well, the US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth criticized those American media outlets for carrying that initial assessment by the Pentagon intelligence agency, saying that it was preliminary.
And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated.
A bullish Pete Hegseth there. Well, let's bring in my colleague Dan Johnson, who is live with us from our Jerusalem bureau. Dan, while the row goes on about the extent of the American damage on Iran's nuclear sites, Donald Trump has also weighed in on Benjamin Netanyahu's political and indeed legal woes at the moment. Tell us more.
Yes, this is a posting by the US president on his Truth Social network. He's written a huge, long post, quite extraordinary, writing there his support for Benjamin Netanyahu. Donald Trump said that Netanyahu was a great wartime prime minister, a warrior who was facing a ridiculous witch hunt. He said they'd been through hell together and that Netanyahu could not have been better, sharper or stronger. The US president again talked about the elimination of Iran's nuclear weapons and said that they'd been fighting for the survival of Israel. He said that he just found out Netanyahu would be summoned back to court next week, and that is the latest stage of a corruption trial that Benjamin Netanyahu has been facing. These allegations that he's been facing over the last few years. That case has been going through the courts in recent months. The Prime Minister's had to give evidence there. Donald Trump says that that is politically motivated, a horror show, which he says should be cancelled, or Benjamin Netanyahu should be pardoned for. He's called it a travesty of